Oh. Adjusting volumes for professionals. Hello. So today I'm going to do a little, experiment insofar as that I want to talk about something that is a topic that is very close to my heart, and I would like to then release the compact video to YouTube. So, you know, I don't know, something. Just so maybe in a year I can look at it and go, what the hell was I even saying? Whatever comes of it. But yeah, let's cut to the chase. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to talk about this, and however long it takes, I don't know, have not really planned for it. But we're going to talk about all of the things I can think of, and then I'm going to make a cut, and then we're probably going to play something else for a bit. Right? So there will be a small cutoff at the end. So just so I have a clean VOD, I don't need to edit it or anything. I can just straight up upload it to YouTube as it is. And so, hello, dear viewers on YouTube that I will hopefully find and reach with this. I want to talk to you about Twitch. So in case you're interested and you are probably familiar with Twitch, there was some recent news that I would like to start with. And that was this news, and I think Bloomberg were the first to actually break the news. They're cutting it off. Wow. Anyway, it's fine. I remember it by heart anyways. So, Amazon's Twitch to cut 500 employees, about 35% of staff. Move is designed to stem losses after 2 rounds of layoffs last year. Is the music too loud actually? Do I need to start over because of the music? Let's hope not. Let me turn it down even more. Okay. Just so I can hear myself think. And yeah, 35%. So close to half, somewhat close to half of all the employees Twitch even just has. And I know from a few birdies in the communities, namely Asmongold and Devin Nash, who I occasionally watch, they talked about this. In this case, I think it was Devin Nash who talked about this, that there was a general decrease over the last years in the Twitch department when it came to, for example, anything that was related to handling the partners at Twitch. That has been decreased by a large margin because, you know, maybe it wasn't needed, or maybe it is. We're going to explore all these questions today. So that was huge news that broke. And even though I'm not myself directly affected by this, I'm not the Twitch staff, nor do I know anyone that is a Twitch staff or was. But obviously, as a Twitch user and a Twitch streamer, I am concerned by this because it tells me something is wrong. But what could possibly be wrong? So that is one of the things we're going to add to our little tab overview. Twitch, what are you doing? Twitch, why? And what are the problems with Twitch? Let's begin exploring this. So obviously the number one takeaway from this news that we just saw, the headline, 500 employees cut. Twitch isn't profitable. And this is not a new issue. I don't think it is for Twitch, nor do I think it is for many tech companies in similar business. The problem mainly arises when times are tough anyway, and many of us will know 2024 promises to be a tough year, not only financially. And when that happens and companies need to rely on whatever profits they may have had from the past, then obviously it becomes very clear whether you actually have any profits to rely on, or if you suddenly have to make big cuts like Twitch now has to make them. But how did we get here? because the past has shown that during the pandemic, beginning with 2020, there was a strange time obviously happening. There were people coming to Twitch that, may have not used Twitch that much before. But since, alternatives were kind of lacking at the time, and you couldn't watch Netflix all the time, there was a huge run on Twitch, and there was a big increase in viewership. There was a big increase in streamers. There was a big increase in partners and affiliates. Everything was growing and booming. And Twitch probably thought, great, let's hire more people. Let's help them. Those unaffected or affected by the pandemic. I don't know if that was a thought, but let's assume that it may have been playing a role. Hiring a lot of people. But the problem is when you hire people, they actually need to do something, right? Ideally, of course, this is far from reality, but ideally, if you hire someone, they are somewhat able to be so productive and maybe give new incentives to the whole company that they are able to kind of make back the money that you have to spend on paying their salary for. Do we know where the 500 employees are cut from? Good question, Betty. Well, not exactly, no. I don't think this is something that Twitch would precisely disclose. If I remember correct, a large part of the people were engineers, programmers, that kind of stuff. So technical backend, but probably from all departments. So I'm not sure how to actually pinpoint which department might have been primarily affected. Very difficult to say. At the end of the day, of course, any layoff is always sad, and we all know how that feels, or some of us know at least, and how this impacts an individual livelihoods. So this is nothing to scoff at, and I'm sorry for the people that got laid off. Now you could say, from a business point of view, that maybe this is the first step that Twitch is making in the right direction. Because obviously, if you're cutting 500 people, you are expected to save a lot of money. But I don't think that tells really the whole story of this issue. Because the reasons why Twitch isn't profitable, I think the reasons for that are many. And it begins, as usual, with the leadership. Or the lack thereof, in this case. And the reasons for that are that in the past, let's pick 5 years, I guess, the leadership at Twitch has changed a lot. There were many managers and so-called CEOs that left quickly after they've been instated in their position. And I have yet to see any meaningful impact they have made on Twitch as a whole, in terms of where is Twitch going in the future? What is the innovative thing that we can expect from them in the upcoming year? Something like that. Now, if we look at this in detail, we can point at a few things that I think Twitch has wasted a lot of resources on. And I mean resources not just in terms of money, I obviously also mean in terms of people that were put on this and put their heart and soul into this, I'm assuming that was the case, for nothing. Or almost for nothing. And I want to begin with a feature that Twitch was calling Hype Chat. This was rolled out in, I think in summer of last year. It was a very short period. And obviously, Hype Chat is designed to be of a similar nature as a thing that we know from YouTube as Super Chats. But I have a problem with this. I'm going to lay out what the problem is. I'm going to make a little indent here. We're going to start with Twitch Hype Chat. Typing is hard, especially when you're trying to talk at the same time. Twitch Hype Chat. Developed for a while. Released. I think it was even announced as a beta. In like a beta state. Twitch Hype Chat release. Let's Release date in June. Yeah, so I was right about summer basically. And it was later deprecated in November 15, so not even half a year. Released in June and then deprecated in November. So basically copy and paste idea from YouTube's Super Chat, as I said. Now, what is the big difference between the two? So YouTube has streaming. YouTube also has chats. However, it is commonly known that there is a big disconnect between streams and general streaming content on YouTube and the chat. And this is usually what is cited by people who don't really enjoy watching streams on YouTube as much, if they are familiar with Twitch. So there is a disconnect between the YouTube stream and its chat. I think the reason for that are many-fold. I'm not even going to go as deep into that. It's probably part of a design failure. It's part of a people are not used as much. Maybe the content plays a different role. But anyway, in the case of YouTube, Super Chats have a clear benefit. And for what they are trying to do, they work. They effectively push messages, questions, because on YouTube, a lot of times content is, for example, streaming content is oftentimes podcasts, people talking, monologues, whatever. And so to increase this connection between the content actually and the actual chat, Super Chat does that effectively. And it also obviously increases income for the content creator. So that works. However, there's a difference when it comes to Twitch. Twitch and chat are traditionally closely linked. And if you are familiar with Twitch, and if you've ever seen a bigger stream or a smaller stream, then you will know what I'm talking about, right? Even in a big stream where you would expect no chatting at all to be possible because the speed is just too quick, even there it becomes a meme fest. It becomes an emote firework with a lot of creativity put into also. Something that also YouTube really lacks. I mean, the availability of emotes on YouTube is quite similar, but they're not used in the same way. And this culture exists mainly on Twitch, as far as I know, when it comes to emotes that are individual, that are sometimes hyped up because they are from maybe some hot new streamer, or because maybe because only the emote is really cool and people laugh about every time they see and use it. By the way, hi Trem. I still don't get out. Anyone not popular gets discovered on YouTube streaming platform? How? Out? What? How? Where's the how? How anyone not popular gets discovered on YouTube streaming platform? Oh, that's a different question, but let's address that in a bit. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is if you have a close connection as Twitch and the chat have, what could possibly be the point of having a so-called hype chat feature which effectively aims to pin certain messages that people have paid good money for to the chat to highlight them? It does nothing, especially in bigger streams where the chat is so fast that people will not care for what exactly is written in chat, but they will also not care for any one message that is pinned on top. Because why would they? After all, they're there to watch the stream. Right? And again, where on YouTube, this might make sense if you have someone asking a question and these questions have to come in via donations and it happens via Super Chat. It works. It has been established. On Twitch, you can do this via bits, you can do this via subscriptions, you can do this via direct donations as well. But they don't need to be pinned anywhere. And that is why this failed. And if Twitch understood their own platform, if the leadership of Twitch had any idea what is going on in their own platform, they would have never even made this feature. Because it's not needed at all. So it's a waste of resources. It was a waste of time and money. And this is not going to be the only example, sadly, that we're going to have to talk about. Another example would be Twitch Sings. Developed probably beginning in 2018 or maybe even prior to that, a karaoke app that was very much integrated into Twitch. And even I remember using it. I mean, I was on a bunch of streams doing karaoke, just, you know, for fun. And released in 2019, and then the servers closed in January 2021. And what was the reason for that? Right? Twitch had invested not only into, well, I mean, the developer was Harmonix, but Twitch was the one publishing it, and I'm sure they were closely involved in the development as well. And they had over 2,000 songs available at launch. The problem when you do something like this, obviously, if you think about it, right? Music is a complicated issue. Copyright is a complicated issue on YouTube, on Twitch, anywhere where music is being played. And to then go and develop an app and again put resources into this, where you would know exactly that if you're trying to incorporate new songs in the future, you're gonna run into problems eventually. Because either it's gonna get too expensive and you cannot refinance this ever, or someone is gonna, you know, get mad at you for using their songs and some contract not being clear, and you're gonna run into some litigation issues or something like that. Some lawyer coming after you. Hi, Alia. So this, again, another failure by Twitch. Now, this is a little bit in the past, but I still think it's worth mentioning because, again, resources spent, time spent, it was used. And I mean, it was working. The app itself was okay. It was nothing groundbreaking new. It was usable. People had fun with it. I'm sure many singing contests came out of it and, you know, fine. But yeah, everything around it was just an issue, and this should have been clear from the start. So I don't really know how they ended up doing this. But they did it anyways. Why the sad? What's with the sad? Oh no, it's an ubu. When you look closely from here, it looks like the cat is crying. So that is scary. How's your morning? Morning? What do you mean? It's 2 p.m. What are you talking about? I don't know about you. I've been up since 9 a.m. I think. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Sorry, I wanted to focus on this Twitch topic. I wanted to get through with it, and then we can do something else later. You consider this morning. All right, fine. To each their own, right? So I didn't really type any more into the document. I just began rambling away. Twitch and chat are traditionally closely linked. Type chat was never needed to begin with, and thus became a failure. Now, later on, I do want to give my own input and my ideas to what Twitch could maybe do better in the future. Oh, we're talking about Twitch. We're talking about Twitch and the many issues, and I'm trying to somewhat keep this document up to date so that we are on track what we are talking about and where we are. So I mentioned leadership. I've cited 2 big investments that Twitch had made in the past that turned out to be failures. On that note, I do also want to point out something that did work. Twitch Hype Train was and is a success, like it or not. So Twitch Hype Train occurs when I don't actually know what exactly defines a hype train. Is it 3 subscriptions or something? Is it 3 of something? Is it whatever? But it creates this environment of, okay, we are celebrating the streamer or the content or something that happened, and we're doing it by subscribing or giving bits, or do donations count to this? Actually, I'm not even sure. And then a hype train appears, and it highlights the chat, and there's confetti everywhere, and everyone gets excited, and they want to push the level higher, and there's this kind of competition. Okay, who can drive the hype train further and push the level higher? And it's kind of silly if you think about it, but I've seen it work so many times, and I felt myself being affected by this, where I thought, well, yeah, hype train, woo. When, of course, in reality, it's not really about the hype train. It's not about some kind of graphic that is above the chat. It is really about the streamer's reaction. It's really about the streamer being excited about the Twitch hype train and going, whoa, guys, this is crazy. What are you doing? I don't know what's happening. So this is something we can point at that did actually work. Something they developed and they implemented it, and it is still here to this day, and it works. You know, even if we can say, oh my God, this is the epitome of capitalism and everything that's wrong with it. Fine, maybe, yeah. But this does bring me to a general point that I would like to make, that I think Twitch was one of the websites on the web, on the WWW, on the WWW World Wide Web, that helped establish a culture of online payment for content. Now, let me try to pinpoint when exactly that was. Twitch subscriptions. I cannot type. Rollout. Or when did Twitch launch subscriptions? In April 2011. Some of you were not even here yet, not even born yet, can you imagine? So, April 2011, Twitch began implementing this subscription. Now, Trem, you may disagree, but unless you bring an example, I don't believe you. So, the idea that you pay for content that you want to consume is a tricky one to this day. I mean, ask any online newspaper, they're gonna cry about it, and they're gonna say it doesn't work. But, well, on Twitch it kind of does, if we're being honest. Now, big part of this, to be fair, is certainly the implementation of the Amazon Prime content. Whenever Amazon bought Twitch in 2016, was it? Yeah? I should have gotten my dates before this, but anyway. When Amazon acquired Twitch, they implemented, soon after I think, the feature that was linked to Amazon Prime that allowed people that linked their Twitch account to their Amazon Prime to have one free sub every single month to give to a streamer of their choice. And this was revolutionary for Twitch, because as soon as streamers understood that all they needed to do, as soon as they had a lot of viewers, that they needed to ask people, hey, if you have Amazon Prime, if you link it to your Twitch account, you can use your free sub on me. It was easy, and it didn't require them to even pay directly, because they had already paid for Amazon Prime anyways, right? But the streamers still got the money for it. And thus people began to develop the ability to actually live off the content that they were making on Twitch. Now, this was the case prior to Amazon taking over Twitch, to be fair, but it was obviously a little more tricky for people because they actually needed to invest their own money directly. Now, over the years, Twitch has done things about this. Twitch, for example, began to localize the prices based on the currency for each country, which has led to advantages and disadvantages. Obviously, if you go to a country, I don't know, let's say Brazil, has, I think, traditionally issues with the currency compared to US dollar, etc. So if you then bring the prices to a local level for Brazil, so where a Twitch subscription would be a lot cheaper, of course, people would be more inclined to actually subscribe to someone. That's a good thing. However, the actual revenue that the streamer gets and Twitch gets is a lot lower too. So it's a trade-off at the end of the day. So yeah, these are some of the things I think that happened in the past years related to Twitch that they have done somewhat well. But anyway, back to the problems. And we're slowly moving towards solutions as well. So if I want to point out another problem that I see with Twitch, I'm ending up on Twitch's front page. And it is a very simple thing to do. Each of you can do this yourself. Simply go and open the front page. Now, you might be confused because you rarely look at this ever, and neither do I. Because nobody cares about this front page. And why would we care about this, right? What is on there that should interest us? So if we open this, we have a bunch of streams here on the top that are featured. That means that they are usually getting notification from their partner manager. I think it's almost exclusively limited to partners on Twitch. Maybe a few chosen affiliates, I'm not sure, that will get featured on this start page. Okay, cool. However, if you as a user go on Twitch, and obviously all of you in chat, let me know, do you ever actually stop and look at this start page and go, yeah, I wonder if there's anything interesting that I should look at? Nah. Precisely. Because why would you? None of this content is catered to anything that I could be potentially interested in. I have never streamed FIFA of any kind on Twitch, nor have I ever watched a stream. Why would I care? We go on to the next. What do we have? Party animals. Actually, the stream is offline anyway. Also offline. Wait, okay, maybe I should refresh the page. Fair enough.
Alright, sorry, go ahead, Sam. It's alright.
Okay, and then we have Grand Theft Auto content. Okay, fine. I've probably played Grand Theft Auto myself, but again, this is not related to any of my particular interests. It isn't, never has been, and it is not something that I find myself curious about. So what ends up for these streamers usually is they have a very much blown up viewership. But the actual people that do come into the stream and maybe chat, let alone come back the next time they stream, is very, 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 very small. Now, maybe this is still fine. Maybe there's still a conversion rate of, even if it's maybe just 2 to 5%, maybe it's still worth for them. Okay, fair enough. But it still doesn't interest me. And here begins the problem. Twitch, in line with its subscription model, tried to open up new areas for revenue as well. And they began, in the past few years, heavily leaning on advertisement, just like YouTube does for years. And, you know, when we want to get into ads on YouTube, we're going to open a whole new box of Pandora itself. We're not going to do that. We're going to focus on Twitch, because that in itself is already a big box. So ads, okay, understandable, I guess. It all began with the so-called pre-roll ads. Nobody liked that. Nobody enjoys clicking on a random stream that you're not subscribed to and then being greeted with an ad. Okay, there's no ad here, but there should be coming an ad eventually.
What was that?
Why is there no ad? Wait, there must be an ad somewhere. Excuse me, my examples. There you go, ad. Thank you. Proving my point. So, advertising a new Marvel series on Disney Plus. Cool. We don't really care. Because that's the thing. I'm clicking on the stream not because I want to see an ad. I'm clicking on the stream because I want to see the actual streamer. And if you're preventing me from seeing what I want to see, I'll get mad. Not a lot, but a little bit. And it does two things. it turns me off from the streamer that I'm trying to watch because I cannot see them to begin with. I'm going to have to wait for at least 30 seconds. Or if I get really, really unlucky, it's even 5 minutes. And the second thing is, no matter what kind of ad is running here, I will not care for the product. I'm not going to go and subscribe to Disney Plus. I'm not going to buy an Asus mainboard because it was shown to me on Twitch. Not in this way. And I think this is something, it's a bit of a complex topic, but I think there are ways that you could implement ads. And I've talked to Amu about this. And she actually kind of started the idea, saying you can do this in a way that people are not as turned off by this. You can, for example, switch this. You put the streamer here, and you put the ad up here. And then maybe, if you are clever with your advertisement sales, you have an ad here that actually interests someone, and they might even click on it. And so you increase the conversion rate. And whoever is running ads on Twitch notices, hey, this actually helps us. Yeah, not only are we gonna keep running ads on Twitch, we're gonna even invest more. We're gonna pay them more. That's what Twitch should want. But that's not what they're doing. They're doing the opposite. Not only do we have pre-roll ads, but we also are encouraged as a streamer to run ads during the stream. And the more ads you run, supposedly the more income you get, which for me as a small streamer is of course ridiculous. It doesn't work. On a really, really good day, if I stream for 4 to 5 hours, maybe I get 30 cents. Wow. And what's the trade-off, right? I'm annoying anyone who isn't sub to my channel and probably make them leave eventually after at least the second or third ad because they're like, well, I barely even know you. I barely even want to watch you. And I certainly don't want to watch any ads. So I'm leaving. Except for Alia, she's staying. Thank you. I appreciate it. So it doesn't work that way. But this is only a small part. Let's go back to the front page. What else is on here? Well, first of all, live channels we think you like. Well, the reason why you think that I like them is because I already follow them. Except for whoever this person is. I can assure you I do not follow her. Because she would be somewhere here and I do not follow her, okay? Trust me. Anyway. So anyone else who's shown here, I already follow them. Why are you showing me these if they're already here? What does that do? Nothing. Okay, so by the way, there's an ad now saved down here. Why? I do not know. Then you have here recommended smaller communities. Okay, sounds like a cool idea, but what is it based on? Is it based on categories that I like? League of Legends? I mean, okay, fair enough. I sometimes watch League of Legends. I follow a few League of Legends streamers, as you can see. 3, 4, 5, 6, apparently. 7. My god, so many. I didn't know this. But yeah, that's it. So, okay, fair enough. Then a bunch of just chatting streamers. Primarily female. Also interesting, but not bad. We're going to get to that. And then down here we have category. I mean, nobody ever scrolls down here. We know this, right? And I think instead of categories, down here, or featured clips from smaller communities, again, like what is this based on? I don't know any of these games. Why does this person have a clown nose? You know, I may ask questions, but I'm certainly not inclined to click on any of this. Because it doesn't interest me. It's not catered to my interest. Something which, again, if we jump back to YouTube, YouTube's algorithm is pretty good at figuring out what you like, what you might like, what you might want to watch. Right? How many times have you come across a video that was shown in your YouTube start page where you thought, hey, what is that? That looks interesting. I've never seen this before. It definitely happened to me. More than once. And I've discovered a lot of interesting content this way. Now, why Twitch isn't doing that, I do not know. That would have been something that you could have probably put some of these 500 employees on to improve this. And this is one of the suggestions I want to point out. I think it would be a good idea to actually make this whole part of the front page with featured streams bigger. I don't know, get rid of these live channels you might like, because this seems awfully redundant, and instead make it increase the size to here. But instead of showing me random streams that you think I need to watch, instead, why don't you make it so that every week you feature a different category on the front page, right? If you look at Twitch, we have so many different categories by now. We have a bunch of games, of course. We have music, we have special events, we have art, we have Duolingo, language learning. Actually, this is something I would say, why don't we change the whole Duolingo section into language learning in general? Might be a good idea, but okay, maybe too detailed. We have a bunch of categories here. This way, what you could do is, if you say, okay, this week, guys, is our art week. We're going to feature art streamers, and we're going to carefully choose who that is. They're not all going to be partners. Some of them might be affiliates that we think deserve your views. Cool. What's going to be the result of this? If you get through the categories on Twitch, you will see that they are very different. They're catering to many different interests, and they're catering also to different genders. And this is an important point I want to really point out. If you want to run ads on Twitch at all successfully, and as part of your business model to actually make a profit, you need to cater to a growing female audience. Why am I saying that? Is it because I like women so much? Maybe. No. I mean, yes, but the reason is that women make a large chunk of consumer choices. And by a large chunk, I'm talking 70 to 80%. This is a fact. So you can think of it as a couple, married or not, living in a household. The woman will decide what couch she will buy. The woman will decide what color the wallpaper is. The woman will end up deciding which TV you might even buy, in some cases at least. So you can continue this list, and it will grow, and many of the pieces that you will end up buying will be chosen by the woman. Whether she pays for them or not, that is a different story. It is not relevant here. Now, Twitch, in its viewership, is still primarily male. And, fair enough. I think at the end of the day, even though there are voices out there that still claim to this day that women game just as much as guys do, not yet, I will say to that. It is not quite yet the same. It will be, but it is not there yet. So, in general, the topic of gaming might not be as appealing to the female audiences yet. But I'm very sure that things like art, language learning, just chatting in general, they do appeal to a female audience. But if you do not cater to them, and if you do not try to increase the female audience, I am sure you're going to lose out on ad money. And that is a big mistake that Twitch is making, and I don't see any kind of move or innovation or idea or anything to change that. And when I say that I think this is going to change in the future, I'm saying that because I know that young girls, like Alia yourself, you grew up with games just like any of the boys that you know that are your age. There's no difference virtually. Where if we go 15 years back, there was a clear difference. Not many girls were into games that much. Of course there were some, but it was not the same as it is today. Where this has become quite even, because gaming as a whole has become very much accepted in society and has been accepted as a hobby for anyone, right? And that is also because the gaming industry itself has also outgrown its roots, where it was primarily catering to the boys as well, because they were the one buying and playing the games back in the day. Mom likes Mario, does that count? Yeah, well, then your mom is one of the first cool gaming moms, for sure. You know, and hats off to your mom. And as this changes, the platforms that want to attract the audiences need to change along with them. And if Twitch doesn't do this, they're gonna fall behind only further. And so I am worried about this. And so if we go back to the solutions, I wanna try to point this out again. So I think what Twitch really needs to do is find a new approach on how they present ads in general. Because I think I understand their need to make a profit. I want Twitch to make a profit myself. I want Twitch to be profitable. Because I want Twitch to remain in the space. I want Twitch to remain a leading platform when it comes to live streaming, at least. You know, obviously, if you want to really compare with YouTube, of course YouTube has a much bigger user base. Of course YouTube is massively leading when it comes to anything that is recorded, pre-recorded, video on demand, etc. But when it comes to live streaming, not only because of the content that exists, because of the content creators that exist on Twitch, you know, the ones that haven't left for YouTube yet, or Kick, or any other platform, they are good, some of them. And the way Twitch chat and Twitch content creators interact with one another is fun, is creative. It opens up a lot of doors for people, right? There's not just content creators. There's the people that make the emotes, that literally live off of making emotes and art for other people's channels. Something that I myself would like to do with Lux. Kick doesn't have much either, no? Just less restrictions. I mean, Kick is a different story. Kick is insofar a different story as Kick is trying to aim to bring people to the platform. And as soon as they are on the platform, they're going to try to trickle as many people back to their stake gaming platform as they can. And I think so far, this is a 2 to 5% or whatever the number was, some arbitrary number, conversion rate for them, which is enough for them to finance the actual streaming platform. So, but okay, good that you mentioned Kick, because this brings me to my last topic. And hi, Jay, by the way. The last topic is obviously the latest sad development, an update on Twitch in Korea. This morning I shared with our community in Korea that we've made the difficult decision to shut down the Twitch business in Korea on February 27th, 2024. So next month. We understand that this is extremely disappointing news, and we want to explain why we made this decision and how we are planning to support those impacted. Ultimately, the cost to operate Twitch in Korea is prohibitively expensive, and we have spent significant effort working to reduce these costs so that we could find a way for the Twitch business to remain in Korea. Right. So the gist of it, our network fees in Korea are still 10 times more expensive than in most other countries. Interesting that they're saying most other countries. So there are apparently some countries where it is equally expensive. I wonder what countries those are. I have no idea. I do not know this. I could have researched this maybe, but I didn't. I'll be honest. And I mean, I've spoken about this in the past, but I want to make clear again, I don't think that Korea will be the last country to be excluded from Twitch. That is my fear. And it seems realistic, sadly. Obviously, depending on network fees, because if network fees in other countries also go up, maybe because of some legislative decision, then what's going to stop Twitch to make the same decision if they can't afford the costs anymore? As we know, they are not profitable to begin with. Right? But the result of this, we can already see this, a little heartbreaking almost. You know, poor girls, even though in her case, I think she's Chinese or maybe Taiwan. I do not know. She's not Korean. But if we do look at Korean streamers, they have had to change their approach, of course, to how they make content. And the majority of them, as far as I can tell, is simply moving to Kick. Which, you know, you can say is a win for Kick. Because if you then look at the amount of people that are actually watching Korean streamers, right? If we just open a just chatting category and then we mute the dear Plumi, who is a streamer that I very much like and have been following her for years. Oh, looky! Especially if we actually, wait, viewers high to low. So, Korean, non-Korean, okay, there's not all that many Korean right now. To be fair, it is getting quite late in Korea, I don't know. But anyway, there are Korean streamers that have a lot of viewers. In this case, VTubers apparently. So if we're just assuming that suddenly these about, what is it, 22,000 viewers are gone, they're going to go to Kick, most likely. The majority, right? You can assume that. And I can tell you from looking at this category before, on a good day, there's a lot more Korean streamers in at least like the top 10 of the just chatting category. They've been doing very well on Twitch. And they're going to lose all of that. And they're going to lose the viewership. And not only that, of course, from a personal perspective, I'm going to lose many of the Korean viewers that I've grown accustomed to, that I enjoyed watching, that I have personally supported, that I've become friends with, that I can no longer watch in the same capacity. That is sad. Now, to be fair, this is not exactly Twitch's fault, but at the same time, it kind of still funnels back to the point that if Twitch had done a better job at becoming profitable, maybe they could have afforded paying for Twitch Korea. But anyway, that is not the case. Whatever the future holds, whether Twitch will ever return to Korea, obviously that is a vague hope. What it depends on, if there's going to be any changes to the law in Korea, to the network fees, and the structure, I cannot tell you. I'm not in the Korean government, obviously. And it's going to remain, again, a tricky topic because other countries, as, again, money is tight, not only in Korea, not only in America, not only in Germany. Some other governments might get ideas on how to increase the income and increase their budgets. And maybe we're going to see another increase to network fees, and Twitch going to say, oh, no, okay, we're going to have to pull out of this country as well. And the sad part of this, of course, is Twitch at the end of the day is a social platform and it is very much community based. Even though sometimes you don't feel much about this, but it is still a fact. And as soon as a community becomes excluded, as it's going to happen with Korea, it hurts. It hurts everyone. Appropriate emote, by the way, Alia. Yeah. Now, the solution to this problem, again, it kind of becomes very complex. It is something that has to be decided on a state level that Twitch really has no influence on. Obviously, YouTube has the same problem. Netflix has had the same problem, and Netflix has settled with the Korean government, or to be more precise, with one, I think, internet provider in Korea, to say simply, okay, if you're offering your services, you are going to offer the best Netflix experience for the money. And that is how they solved it. So it was kind of a dirty deal, I think. I don't know how you feel about this, but I personally would never go to some internet provider because of their Netflix quality. I expect the quality to be the same for every provider. And if that's not the case, then I probably don't want any Netflix or any other platform. Maybe that's just me. So yeah, first of all, the Twitch leadership, which is not only one person, it is a bunch of people. They really need to I don't know, what do they need to do? Think carefully, understand the platform, understand what the trends are and what the problems are, correctly identify them, and and again, when I say that Twitch is a community platform, and I'm proving this right now, right? I am willing to also use my own head to think, okay, what could we improve on? What could we do better? And by we, pretending that I was part of Twitch, or we all are part of Twitch in a way, right? And we all can do that. But the question is, will Twitch actually hear what we have to say? And this remains to be seen. And I am, at this moment, I am not very hopeful. Even if, as I said in the beginning, you could say that, letting go of 500 employees probably means that you're going to have to pay a lot less salaries, and maybe it's going to be the first step to making you profitable again. Okay, maybe. But only if your platform actually survives the year 2024. And not everyone is actually eventually moving on to YouTube, Kick, or any other platform. Which I hope doesn't happen, because as you know, I despise most of these platforms. So yeah. Let me point this out again. Implement show ads on Twitch in a more disruptive, what is that? Disruptive way to how do I phrase this? To not punish viewers and keep them interested in the actual products being advertised. Because I want to really point this out. I mean, say about Instagram what you want, but it does happen to me a lot when I do scroll through a bunch of reels that suddenly there's an ad where I'm going, hey, what is this? At least to that level. At least, maybe I'm not saying I want to buy it, but at least I'm saying, wait, what is this? It works. And if I don't like it, I can just simply swipe it up and it's gone. I don't have to watch it. But it is there if I am interested. And that's how it should be. Yeah, YouTube is terrible. Instagram, again, Meta, Facebook, the long story. But ads on Instagram work. And if Twitch wanted to copy something from some platform, maybe we should be looking at Instagram a little bit. Even if it is a different way the platform works, but I think you can still learn from it and maybe develop some solution of your own. Hopefully. So yeah. We are close to an hour, and I was kind of aiming to talk about this for an hour. Let me just say, last but not least, I also want to point out that I think Twitch should no longer waste money on things that make no sense. I've pointed this out last time. I think having TwitchCon twice a year is fine. You don't need any kind of entertainment program, especially if it's 2 years in a row, some drag queens that really nobody wants to see. Don't do it. Don't waste money on that kind of stuff. You don't need it. And don't focus on, trying to categorize your viewers and your platform by identity. It is fine to categorize them by gender, because it has an actual purpose for your ads. But otherwise, this is not needed. Whether you are black, whether you are Asian, whether you are from Germany or any other country, if you are on Twitch, you're part of the community already, by definition. And you don't need to do anything to, give them some kind of special treatment or anything. If they're good, they're gonna make it. Because people like good content. And they don't care where the content is coming from. And we've seen this millions of times. We don't need any proof for that. Cue inspirational motivation music, yes. So yeah, anyway, as we are nearing the 1 hour mark, I'm going to come to an end. I'm going to say that I hope that Twitch is going to wake up in time and consider some of these things. I'm sure there's plenty of more good ideas that I don't even have, but there are many more other brains on Twitch that have probably much better ideas even, and much more experience. So I say, let's all come together and fix this, because we can. So now, coming to the end of this, if you are actually watching this on YouTube, I thank you, because you have watched 1 hour of me rambling. And if you find this at all either controversial or interesting or whatever, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Maybe even a comment, because I would like that very much indeed. So anyway, coming to an end, thank you for watching, and I see you next time. Hopefully on Twitch in the future.